Okay, dear student friends, in the last class I had given you some of the basic information regarding what exactly is IoT and how it can be seen from the point of view of our discussion. So one example also I have taken with the help of a picture, right? So that should be able to give you a gist or a glimpse of how the different aspects related to IoT can be realized. So with that particular background, what I have given you in the previous class, now let us move on to actual, the course content, whatever we have in this subject. Okay, so let me start with the definitions, vision and concept of IoT as defined or as prescribed in our syllabus. Okay, let us move ahead. Now if you look at the definition here, right, uh, Internet of Things basically tells or gives the definition in different forms according to the different criteria that have been mentioned, right? First, let us again look into the definition of what internet is, which I have already explained in the previous class itself, but let us quickly get back here. A vast global network of connected servers, clouds, computers, tablets, mobiles, devices and systems. This is a global network because these things are very essential for us to afterwards correlate the different parameters related to Internet of Things. A vast global network, right? It's a global network of connected servers, clouds. I will come back to what exactly is the cloud later again. Computers, tablets, I have already told you the significance of the mobile phones, right? Devices and systems. And basically this internet uses the internationally used protocol and connecting system, right? So I have already made a mention about one of such protocols, that is the TCP IP, the transmission control protocol or the internet protocol, right? So this is one definition what you can have as long as the internet is concerned, right? So now if you go to this usages of internet, okay, no need to mention about all these things, but still as a part of our curriculum we have to look into these things. Enables sending, receiving or communicating the information, messages, alerts, right? And it is between the devices. So far we have been seeing what exactly the internet is doing, but we have to see something more, what all we can have from the internet after having studied this particular subject. Between the devices, sensors, servers, cloud service, application and business processes. So all these things whatever I have mentioned here, right, these are all our domains when we start studying about the Internet of Things, right? So how exactly we look into the different parameters that we have mentioned here, and in what way they will come in our application, that we have to discuss, right? So this is basically the usage of internet. Now after having seen that, let us come to what do we mean by things. Okay, the definition of things. This I have already told you in the previous class also, again repetition here, right? Things refer to a physical object, an action, an idea, situation or activity in case when we need not be precise. This is a very important one, because for all the aspects which I deliberately did not tell as things, right? So it is possible for us to correlate this with respect to the internet. That is the reason why anything, right, we call it as a thing. Okay, thing refers to a physical object also, it can be an action also, it can be an idea also, it can be situation, activity. I have already told you, so you get that thing, right? I did not expect that thing from you. in our situations these kind of things were not there. So that will tell you what exactly we mean by the things. Okay, so now whenever we speak about the things, let us not bother about their literal meaning. Okay, we have to see how these things are connected to our internet. Okay, this is very important, right? How we will be able to materialize this particular aspect. Okay, this is about the definition of things, right? Now with these things, that is what is internet and what is things. Now let us precisely go into a few definitions of the internet of things. One, I straight away take it from the Wikipedia, right? So you can see here in Wikipedia, the internet of things is defined as the network of physical objects. These are very, very important points. The network of physical objects, or what we have just defined it as things, embedded with electronics, software and sensors. So some of you had asked some question in the first class. Okay, so will we have to design the chips, or will we have to do only the software part of it? Will we have to do the combination of all these things, right? So probably you get the answer here. The network of physical objects or the things embedded with electronics, software and sensors, right? So why electronic is required here, why software is required, why sensors are required, probably you have got a very rough idea as of now. Okay, later we will see precisely why these things are required. So the network of physical objects or things embedded with electronics, software and sensors, connected so as to enable achieving greater value and offer services by exchanging data with the manufacturer, operator and or other connected devices. Now probably you can have more clarity here. Connected so as to enable achieving greater value, you can think of some small applications that you may able to realize or materialize. Connected so as to enable achieving greater value and offer services. So see, ultimately what for we are doing all these things is to offer the services, correct or not? To offer the service. So what kind of service? It could be a social service, it could be paid service if at all you want to earn something, right? So it can be a part of obligation, whatever it is, right? Those kind of services you can offer by exchanging the data with the manufacturer, operator and or other connected devices. Let us very precisely look into all these things as and when we come across these things in our subsequent discussions. Okay, so this is one definition. That is not the definition, this is only one of the definitions, right? So now let us look into one more definition here. As you can see, each thing is uniquely identifiable. This is a very important point. Each thing is uniquely identifiable. Things embedded with sensors and computation systems or computing system, able to interoperate within the existing internet infrastructure. Then Internet of Things, IoT, extends the use of internet by providing the communication and thus inter-network of the physical objects, devices, machines, vehicles and all referred as things. Okay, so Internet of Things. So please come to this definition that gives more of a precise definition here. Extends the use of internet. So we use the internet for so many purposes. Okay, so please keep your Internet of Things away from it for the time being, and you know what for the internet is used or what for the internet was being used. So basically to send the videos or mail or something like that initially, but now the use of the internet is not limited to those things and whatnot. You have everything by using the internet. So IoT is one of the compositions or one of the subsets of the large or vast range of the usage of the internet. Okay, so internet of thing extends the uses of internet by providing communication and thus internetwork of physical objects. So this is a very important point to be noted again, internetwork of physical objects. I will tell you what exactly is the meaning of this. Devices, machines, vehicles. See, when I speak about the machines and vehicles, see where we have gone now. Okay, we have gone into the public domain, right? So all referred as things. So this is another way how you can have the definition of the internet of things. Now see, the start of internet things or the development of concepts, right? Here you can see here the concept of IoT started with the things with the communicating devices for the identity called RFIDs. So the very basic the concept, right? The inception started with the RFID devices, right? So RFID means, as you can see here, the radio frequency identification devices. I have already given you one example also, and nowadays in your industrial applications, industrial processes for identifying the parcel service, for properly making sure that a particular parcel reaches a particular destination. You have seen this Amazon, Flipkart and all, right? So many parcels are coming, right? How do they keep track of all these things? So all these parameters or all these aspects come under this RFIDs. Maybe they may be using some other applications as well, right? So that's a different thing. The very concept of IoT started with the things with the communicating devices for the identity called RFID. This is where the very concept of RFID, I mean the internet of things, started. So this RFIDs can directly be connected to the internet, and afterwards, right? So there are so many other things, right? The connected devices could be tracked, controlled, monitored using remote computers, applications, business processes. So now what do you mean by this? Here if you look at this definition, now for example, all of you must be aware of this transacting with your Amazon and all. You must have ordered one or the other things, right? So you keep receiving the message by the time you put an order, right? It is dispatched. You can track the orders where exactly it is there, right? So this is one application of your internet of things, right? Not necessary that it is always RFID. They may be using the different technologies also. So using RFID, this is easily materializable, right? So I have already given you some examples of the tiger senses and all, right? So there also you can definitely make use of the similar things. Basically it is to keep track of certain event or certain procedure or certain thing, right? Connected devices could be tracked, controlled or monitored using remote computers. So you have the remote computer, you have got your Amazon app with you, right? So that serves as the remote computer or even the application or even the business process. So this is how the RFIDs initially started all the process of this internet of thing operations. Okay, then you can see here, just by having an RFID, right, it is not possible for us to realize the entire thing here. You must have something called smart devices. You must have something called smart devices, right? So the smart devices play a very important and major role, right, in the entire IoT scenario. Without smart devices, it is not possible for us to have the IoT to be realized as it is being realized today, because the developments in every part of the technology has to take place. Then only a particular technology as a whole will grow and it will become successful, right? So without having smart sensors, how it will be possible for us to have the proper implementation of the IoT? Without having proper layers, without having proper communication, right? Without having proper cloud for your storage, it is not possible for us to realize or materialize the IoT operation successfully. So therefore, smart devices are very very important things, which serve as one of the basic and important components of your IoT system. Now, in the smart devices, what you can call them embedded devices with computing and communicating capabilities. These are very important terms, right? Even from the point of view of your examination also. What are smart devices? Explain. So, and one more thing is that this particular subject is purely theoretical, right? Purely theoretical, except that you have some case studies and all. You have 100% theoretical. You don't have any problem and all. The programming and other things are specifically not mentioned here, and as an add-on you can always have the Python programming and any other kind of the programming to realize some of the simple applications using the Internet of Things, right? So therefore I again make a mention here that it is a purely theoretical thing. Please try to understand all these concepts. Later, depending upon your requirement, your interest, you can further proceed, since it is a fundamental course. That is the reason why it has been offered as an elective subject, right? It is not the core subject, right? So now if you look at the smart devices, again, embedded devices with computing and communicating capabilities, right? So this example I think I have already given you in the first class itself, right? A smart umbrella, it is an example. Okay, now by looking at this diagram, you should be able to have the concepts of IoT in a very primitive or the fundamental levels, right? So what exactly a smart umbrella means? Okay, you have got you can look at the diagram here. You have got some chips, right? Some the flashing LED here in the umbrella itself, right? So now this chip, okay, whatever gives this umbrella a smart feature, right? So that is capable of communicating with your mobile phone. Okay, maybe it is a smart sensor or something like that. It may be embedded with a rain sensor, or the humidity sensor, or it may be embedded with a temperature sensor. So it may be required in either cases, when there is a very high sunshine, very extremely burning sunshine, or when there is a possibility of high rain. So basically what for this is used? So you want to give an indication to a user of the umbrella whether to carry it or not, right? This may not be a very relevant application as long as our Indian scenario is concerned, right? Some of you may be laughing by looking at this application, right? We can clearly understand how it will be raining, or whether there is a possibility of the raining, or whether any possibility of very high sunshine, something like that. For Indian scenario, these things are not relevant according to me, but as an example you can always understand it. Okay, so now see, this umbrella is communicating with your mobile phone. Then from the mobile phone you have the internet. Then the internet, okay, it is connected to the weather website, or I mean a weather website is a part of the internet. So in this way you have all the information between your weather website and your umbrella. How do you materialize it? That is a different thing. Okay, so you have the edge computing, you have node computing. I will come to all those things later, right? So those are some of the important parameters in your Internet of Things basic concepts. So looking at the weather website, whether it is going to rain or whether it is going to be highly sunny today, so you give the information to the carrier here, the person who is going to take it. So the informations or the LED, okay, if it is going to rain, you can make it to glow with a red LED. If it is going to be not raining, you can make it to glow with the green LED, something like that, right? So my intention here is not to appreciate the application, but what exactly is the meaning of a smart device? Okay, how do you make an umbrella smart? So this is what is the basic intention behind whatever I have told so far. Okay, so this can be considered as a simple example, right? As long as understanding what a smart thing is, the smart umbrella. Okay, now coming to the next one. Okay, so here we have some more aspects which we call it as smart or hyper connected devices. So before going into this, okay, let me tell you one small example also. It is given here also, of course. Okay, street light network. Okay, so with that only I will tell you. Now, what exactly is the meaning of hyper connectivity? So these are the important terms again. Hyper connectivity. What do you understand by hyper connectivity? Use of multiple systems and devices to remain constantly connected to network, social networks, and streams of information. This is called as the hyper connectivity. Parallelly, you can take a small notebook also, and you may make some notes also, so that this is one methodology I have always been referring to, because since we are in the online mode, it is not possible for me to properly have the control over you whether the listening or learning is taking place or not right along with the teaching. In the regular class or in the physical class, you must have observed I used to roam around inside the class, and I used to see whether you are properly taking down or noting down the things that are being dictated. But here, unfortunately, that opportunity is not there for me. But somewhere I will ask you to submit the notes afterwards, a very minimum level of notes. My basic intention is that whatever you listen, you try to convert it in the form of some papers, so that your listening will be always embedded that in your mind if you write these things. That is my philosophy. So therefore, please have a copy of the syllabus with you, right? Whatever is discussed in a particular class, you make it a habit to write down those things, not extensively. You need not write each and everything. Okay, you can write some of the basic aspects. That's what is called as making the notes. Some important things what are discussed, you please have a habit to write down those things. That will be very useful for you even when you face the examination later. We never know what is our present situation. Okay, so therefore, hyperconnectivity, coming back to hyperconnectivity, use of multiple systems and devices to remain constantly connected to a network or social network and streams of information. And smart devices are constantly connected to network, or we make them to constantly get connected to the network. So now example is given here. Okay, a simple example: a street light network constantly connected to a central controlling station or a server, right? What do you mean by that? So now lot of smart city projects are going on here in Hubli, Dharwad, right? So the implementation is a different part, but the projects are going on. The students who are really interested to show some interest in IoT kind of things, you have got a very good opportunity, right? In deploying some small projects, right? So one of them is this one, that is the street light network. Okay, you can make the entire street light turning on and turning off phenomena connected to a particular network, right? So sitting at one particular place, it is possible for us to monitor where the street lights are required to be on, where the street lights are required to be turned off, how many lights are to be turned on, how many lights are to be turned off, based on the traffic, right? Based on the light intensity, so many things. This is a very general example. Definitely you can always use your engineering brain to make it more smart, right? So sometimes you observe that the lights are not turned off even when it is 8 o'clock in the morning, or sometimes it is not turned on even it is 7:30 in the evening. So these kind of problems can be avoided by having a proper system designed for the street lights. So now there, a street light network, what I mean by network is, I will give you one example later. So it could be, a switches okay, a group of lights first, a group of switches, the group of switches connected to a main node, the main node being connected to a network, and in the network there will be some network operator who will be looking into all these things, a cluster of lamps, whether it is required to turn on them or turn off them, right? Whether traffic is more in a particular area, right? If there is more traffic, more lights can be turned on. If there is less traffic, less number of lights can be turned on, turned off, all these things, right? So that all depends upon what kind of you know concept you have in your mind or idea you have in your mind. Accordingly the algorithms and other things can be written, and most important part is how to materialize them. That is very very important, because most of the things, our ideas remain at the algorithm or the simulation level, but the implementation is very very important. Irrespective of whether it is a small project or a major project, you should always try to end the project only after it is implemented. That you should always keep at the back of your mind. Okay, so this is what is the meaning of smart hyper connected devices. Hyperconnectivity: use of multiple systems and devices to remain constantly connected to network, social network, depending upon the requirement, and stream of information. Okay, now let me come to the next point, wherein we have the vision of IoT. I am going exactly as per what is given in your syllabus. Okay, I don't want to deviate right now, because that will be confusion. What do you mean by IoT vision here? Okay, a vision where things, now when I speak about the things here, look here, what are the different things that you can understand: a wearable, watch, alarm clock, home devices, surrounding objects, right, become smart and behave alive through sensing, computing, and communication device. This is what is our vision as an IoT, right? A vision where the things become smart and behave alive. Your watch should behave like a your friend. You are like your friend. Okay. So you have something else. For example, wrist band or something like that. Okay. So that should behave like a friend. Okay, that should behave in a lively manner, and that should also behave in a smart manner, right? So nowadays a lot of high end cars are coming, right? So it is almost like auto driving, right? So the drivers need not worry about the different things. Of course they are not yet suitable for our Indian conditions, because of so many other issues we have, right? But in Western countries and all, definitely these type of things have become common in at least some places, right? So ultimately when you have got a car, uh, instead of you making the car to be controlled, the car will on its own way have its control, and in turn it will take you to the destination in a safer and comfortable manner. So this is what is the concept of IoT, or the vision of IoT, right? So a vision where embedded devices interact with remote objects. Please look this definition carefully. Vision where embedded devices interact with remote objects or persons through connectivity, right? You have to have the vision to realize these things. The embedded devices interact with remote objects or persons through connectivity. Now embedded devices, when I say that devices, it can be anything, it cannot talk, right? So it should be able to interact with the remote objects or persons through connectivity. For examples, using internet or NFC devices, the near field communication devices. I will tell you what are these near field communication devices. Or it could be with the help of the other technologies. Okay, so now this is what is the vision of IoT, right? Then probably in our next discussion, right, we will have a very important aspect to be discussed, that is called IoT conceptual framework, right? So this is from where the actual the concept of IoT, how do you materialize that, how do you realize that, all those things start. Okay, so in the today's class what we have discussed is the basics of IoT: definition of internet, definition of things, then IoT definition, afterwards smart and hyper-connected devices. Then we have also seen what exactly is the vision in the IoT, right? So with that, I will stop here. If you have any doubt, you can get back to me immediately after this classes as usual. Thank you. In the next class, we shall start with the conceptual framework. Thank you.